As far as choosing something new, I think
Mhm.
doing your research, knowing your allergies, first of all, I think is really important. Go to the allergist and see what you're allergic to. If you see your skin break out from something, I think, do patch tests before you try a new product. Um,
Mhm.
I think that's important, but know what you're allergic to, first of all, so that you can avoid it when you are purchasing products. Um,
Mhm.
not even just allergic to, but sensitive to, right? You might
Right.
not
Mhm.
have a full blown allergy, but if you are
Mhm.
sensitive to a certain ingredient, then that's something to consider as well. Know your body. I think know what your goals are.
Polishing my hand, I'm ready to create each nail a masterpiece. I can hardly wait. Soft pastels or vibrant hues, each tells a tale in their artistry of nails. Nothing ever fails. With each swirl and twirl, let the magic begin in this kingdom of gloss. There's no end to the wind. Gloss on my fingertips, watch them shine bright. Painted like a canvas, colors taking flight. Feeling fierce and fabulous, I'm ready to ignite. Slaying the nail game every single night. Nails and beauty talk with Asia the bird. Nails and beauty talk with Asia.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. Today, we have a very special guest with us today. She is a cosmetic chemist. Please welcome Milan Scott. Hello, Milan. How are you?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad to have you. So, I want to go ahead and get started by asking where you're originally from and tell us a little about your upbringing.
Yeah, sure. So I am originally from Maryland, like right outside of Baltimore, Howard County area. Um,
Okay.
I grew up uh, going to private school in Tacoma Park, Maryland. It was a really conservative Christian school, and I think that is honestly where I got my start in beauty because
Hmm.
there I wasn't allowed to wear makeup, I wasn't allowed to wear nail polish, I wasn't allowed
Right.
to do the weaves and stuff like that because it was a really conservative Christian school. But I
Hmm.
remember sneaking into the bathroom with my friends and like putting on eyeliner and putting on lip gloss and lipstick and then just hoping that the teacher didn't notice. Um,
Right.
and then taking it off before my mom found me after school. So that's kind of how I got my start. And then that love just kind of shaped and took form as I went to high school, where I had a
Hmm.
little bit more freedom there. It
Right.
was still a conservative Christian school, but I was able
Hmm.
to get my nails done. I was able to wear more makeup. I started doing my friends' makeups for like proms and banquets and things like that. And so that's kind of how I got my start in the beauty industry and just kind of fell in love with this whole space.
Mm. Yeah, that's really, really cool. I want to get into as far as like, your school experience. So tell us about like, your experiences in like grade school, college, trade school, university, things like that, possibly.
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, in grade school, that's kind of where I got my start. High school is where it
Mm.
started to develop, but college is where I started to really make money from doing it. I remember getting my
Mhm.
first job at the Mac counter. And then I actually ended up starting to do makeup for a reality TV show in the college that I was at. It's called Love and Marriage Huntsville. They're still running episodes today, but
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I seen
I
that.
used to do Kimmy's makeup
Oh,
season.
wow.
I think it was season 2 that it was running,
Okay.
and now they're, like, on season 8 or 9 or something like that, so I was, like, real early stages,
Right.
but I did her makeup. I started to just kind of take an interest even more in turning this into a career.
Right.
A little bit about how I actually got to where I'm at now. I was actually initially trying to be an aerospace engineer. I was a
Mm.
mathematics major in undergrad. I thought that, I was good at science, I was good at math, so it just made sense that I would do something in the STEM field. I thought that that was going to be engineering or some type of mathematics, maybe an actuary scientist or something like that. But I had done the NASA internship. I loved it. Um,
Mhm.
and as I got to my senior year in college, I just was feeling really unfulfilled. It felt
Mhm.
like, am I doing this because I really love it, or am I doing this because I want
Yeah.
money, or why am I
Yeah.
really doing this? to back up just a little bit, when I
Mhm.
first got to college, when I first got to Oakwood University, and I sat down with Dr. Pollard, who is the president of the university, him and my grandmother are very good friends. And so, him,
Okay.
my grandmother, my mom, and me, and I think his wife was there too. We all sat down in his office and we were just talking about my career path and the journey that I'm going to be going in. And I remember
Mhm.
them asking me, what would you do if money was not an issue? And I said, I would do makeup or something along the lines of that, right? And they said,
Right, right. Mhm.
I remember my grandma later on, she told me that she was so embarrassed by it. But she realizes that what they were trying to do was not, tell me not to worry about money, but to actually figure out a way to make money from the things that I love and that I'm passionate about, instead of trying
Right.
to just,
Mhm.
do things just for the love of money, because you're never going to feel fulfilled in that way.
Right,
And so
absolutely.
when I got to my senior year and I was feeling unfulfilled, I always kept that in my mind, like, what would I do if money was not an issue? How do I make
Right,
money for the things that make me passionate? And my roommate at
right.
the time, she was a biochemistry major, and Jill, I love you for
Mhm.
this if you're watching. I always shout her out because she was the one who pushed me into cosmetic science. She said, I just met with the cosmetic scientist. You should look into that, because she knew I was into makeup. She knew I was into skincare. She knew I loved all things beauty, hair, and nails, and all of the
Right,
things.
yeah.
And she was like, you should look into that. And so I did. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I still I
Yeah, yeah.
still went and
Mhm.
got my math degree. So I have a bachelor's of science in mathematics. I went and I took my requisites in chemistry, and then I got into Long Island University for
Oh,
my
wow.
master's
Okay.
program in cosmetic chemistry. So that's kind of how my
Wow.
journey has shaped me into a cosmetic chemist now, from math all the way into science.
Oh, wow, that's really, really incredible. That I think that answers my other question, but, because I was gonna ask about, you doing hair and makeup during college and things of that nature. But, in terms of just with chemistry, as far as the beauty aspect of chemistry, so what did you think that was missing in the world of beauty chemistry in your perspective?
That made me get into it. Is that what you mean?
Mhm, yeah, what did you think that was missing that made you get into it? What was, like, the driving force?
That's a good question. I think when I got into it, it was more of a self-serving type of situation where I was like, where do I feel the happiest? But as
Mhm,
I got into the industry, and I started to see little nuances here and there, I started to see things. What kept me going in this industry was the fact that I was helping to pave a way. Not just me, there are people who came before me that I have to shout out. But I'm gonna shout them out in a second, but
mm,
the idea that I was paving a way for other little Black girls in STEM, and Black people in general to then come and follow in my footsteps, and take an interest in science and take an interest in math and engineering, and to follow in my footsteps. I think it's like only 8% of scientists in the world are Black and brown people.
wow.
8%. And I'm like,
That's
you know
extremely
what?
low.
We're changing people's lives here by doing what we do it by doing what we're doing, showing them
Yeah,
what is possible. I
yeah,
always, by the way, let me shout out the people who came before me. Cindy Johnson, she was the first person that looked like me that I saw in the industry. And I remember sitting down with her, or I scheduled a consultation with her because she runs a cosmetic lab as well. And I think when we first met, she was like, "Oh, so you want to start a brand?" And I was like, "No, I actually just want to pick your brain because I want to be like you." And so she was able to kind of help mentor me a little bit,
yeah.
unofficially, of course. Esther
Mhm.
Olu is another one. Javon Ford is another one. People who look like me, who have some similar experience as me, and are and came before me and helped shape my path. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to do that for other people. I always make an effort to go back to different schools and do workshops. Imhotep Charter High School. They invite me back every year, and I'm so grateful. Shout out to Shirley Posey, who always invites me back. Tacoma Academy, which is my alma mater, Mr. Robinson over there, they always invite me. I am so appreciative that I'm able to help them take an interest in the world of
Mhm.
science and technology and engineering and math, and
Mhm.
help contribute to growing that 8% into 9% and 10% and 11% as the journey goes on. So
Mhm.
I'm just appreciative that I'm able to do that for other people.
Yeah, that's really, really awesome. I want to get into as far as just the next topic. So you have your own company called Keseana Cosmetic Labs. So you specialize in high performance beauty products that are grounded in real chemistry and crafted with care. So tell us about your company. How did this get started?
Yes, great question. So Keseana Cosmetic Labs was born out of a desire to do something cool, I think.
Mhm.
I wanted to take what I was learning in school. I was still in school at the time when I started this program or this company.
Right.
I
Mhm.
was going to get my master's in cosmetic chemistry, and I wanted to apply the things that I was learning. So I started a makeup brand. I started selling lip glosses. I started selling highlighters. I started selling eyebrow pencils, all of the color cosmetics things. At the time, I thought e-commerce was going to be what I wanted to do. And
Mhm.
then later on, I got a email from a friend who went to college with me, and she asked me to help her start her brand. And so I
Mhm.
did. She knew I was a cosmetic chemist, or I was studying at least to be a cosmetic chemist. I was working as a lab tech at the time. And that's when she asked me to help her with a body butter. And so I did. And I fell in love with that process. Taking someone's ideas that weren't a full product yet, taking that idea and turning it into something that they can feel and try out, and
Mhm.
then turning that labor of love into something that they can share with their audience was like the mind blower for me. I said, I don't want to do e-commerce anymore. I only want to help brands who do e-commerce to be able to compete, especially our black and brown brands, our indie brands, to be able to compete with the huge conglomerates like the Estee Lauders, the L'Oreals, the Elf Cosmetics. I want them to be able to compete with at a high level with those companies.
Right.
And so
Mhm.
that's kind of how Kishana Labs was born. We started in 2020, and we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary back in November of 2025.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we've been able to really produce some really incredible work. I love the process of what we do here. I love the innovation. I love that we can help our smaller businesses who are bootstrapping themselves, who maybe don't have the understanding and the knowledge of how to create a formula, of hero ingredients, of what goes into testing, and help them to know what they're doing so that they can then educate their audience as well. And so we're pushing the industry forward, especially as it pertains to Black beauty. So
Mhm.
I think it's really important work.
So how important is it that beauty products are made with like clean ingredients? Because I know people have talked about clean beauty and things like that, and people look for, different beauty products that have cleaner ingredients. So how important is it, that beauty products are made with cleaner ingredients?
Yeah, so I think it's a really common misconception that there are a lot of like toxic ingredients on the marketplace, and I want our more consumers to know that, and that's why I really became like a content creator. I don't even like to say content creator because it doesn't feel like I'm an influencer or anything like that. I really
Mhm.
just talk to consumers, and I want them to understand what goes behind the scenes with their products, and so I want them to make better informed purchasing decisions. And so there's a really big misconception when it comes to clean beauty. The FDA,
Mhm.
the FTC, all of the governing agencies, they put systems in place so that there are no toxic ingredients. They look at data. They have scientists on their team that are constantly looking at data to see, what
Right.
is safe and what is not safe. They're
Mhm.
constantly making updates to those regulations. Any product that is on the market has to be safe, or else they will get a fine from the governing organizations, whether they're advertising it as advertising it in a way that it shouldn't be advertised, or if they're including ingredients that are not at that recommended concentrations, they will be
Mhm.
pulled from the marketplace.
Mhm.
With that said, different countries and areas have different regulations, but here in the United States we are governed by the FDA and the FTC. So when it comes to clean beauty, I think that there is a lot of fear mongering going on in order
Okay.
for brands to sell a product, and I'll tell you what I mean by that.
Okay.
Brands like the Yuka app. Have you heard of the Yuka app? and
No, I have
EWG.
not.
So basically, these are like apps that tell you you can like scan it in the grocery store or in Target and in Ulta, and it'll
Mhm.
tell you the how clean or how safe your product is. The issue is that they don't take into consideration dosage, right? If I
Right.
take um if I take a spoonful of salt and I swallow it whole, obviously that's going to cause some damage to my body, right? It's I might get hypertension, I might start to have high blood pressure, or I might need to start taking medicine or whatever. I don't know, that's a little dramatic. But
Right,
just
right, right.
for
Yeah,
analogy's
yeah.
sake, if I take a spoonful of
Mhm.
that, it's not safe for me. Now, if I dabble a little bit of salt on my food, that's not the same dosage. You know what I mean? So
Right.
putting it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
100% versus putting a
Mhm.
little bit inside of your formula is not the same. And so when these Yuka apps and the EWG, when they take these data points, they don't consider the fact that dosage makes the poison. Another
Mhm.
thing that's important to recognize is that a lot of these companies take money from brands in order to uh, push a different product and fearmonger one product but sell another product. And
Mhm.
so I think we just have to be cognizant of that fact, and make sure that we are making better informed decisions. But if a product is on the market, it is legally required to be safe, or else it will be pulled from the marketplace. I think consumers are really understanding this a lot better now. We are in a moment in history where consumers are leaning away from clean beauty and more going towards science-backed innovative products. We want our products to prove that they work. Um,
Right.
if
Mhm.
I take a bottle, I wish I had like a shampoo bottle or something with me right now. If I take a bottle from 10 years ago, it'll say on the label, it'll say paraben free, sulfate free, silicone free, uh, phenoxyethanol free, whatever the case is, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now what we're seeing, instead of that, we might be seeing um powered by niacinamide, powered by glycolic acid, 5% glycolic acid, powered by 50% glycerin, or whatever the claim is. We are
Mhm.
now moving from a place where before we were talking about what's not in the product, what's not here. But now we're moving into a space that's like, well, what is in the product that makes it work? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I think that we are moving in a more positive space. We want to, well, consumers want more transparency in the product, and I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's good. We should want transparency, and I think that they want to know: has your product been tested for efficacy? Does your product do what it says that it's doing? Has your product how what type of ingredients are in your product? What type of hero ingredients are powering the efficacy for this product? And I think
Mhm.
that it's a good thing that we're moving towards a space of not what's not in it. We shouldn't really care what's not in it. What is in it that is actually making this product work? Um, and the reason
Mhm.
that I say that we shouldn't care what's not in it is because those are already in place that it has to legally be safe.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. And I think I like how you break it down because I think there is a sense of fear mongering the more you really think about it. Because like people, some things with certain chemicals, like it's like a certain amount, like how you said about the
Yeah,
salt. Like so, you're not like a whole spoonful of salt you intake. That's not the same thing as like a pinch. If there's a pinch of a certain ingredient, that's not gonna hurt you and things like that. That's kind of like with the nail industry. There's been talks about like HEMA,
mm,
which is in nail products and stuff like that. And people say like, of course, too much HEMA, can be a little iffy. You
mhm,
know what I mean? But like, what I've learned in regards to gel nail products is that like if it's like 4 to 7% of HEMA, if it's like a low amount, then it's like more safer and stuff like that. So so there's been talks as far as like nail allergies, as far as chemicals, like TPO and HEMA,
yeah.
and stuff
And
like that.
And I do
Hmm.
want to just add, I know that the European Union just banned some gel nail polish ingredients. The reason
Yeah.
that certain countries in certain areas that they will ban certain ingredients versus like the United States is that they're taking the same research but taking a different approach to it. The FDA, or I guess the United States, whatever organization, the FDA, the FTC, all of those, they
Yeah.
an
Mhm.
approach where they are saying, okay, what is the data and what are the limits? Let's make sure that we don't go above those limits in order to be safe. The European Union, they'll take that same data and they'll say, okay, what is the smallest amount in order to be effective without going above that? So it's just different
Mhm.
approaches. That doesn't
Right.
mean
Yeah.
that the ingredient itself is unsafe at different concentrations. It's just that they take different approaches to it.
Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. So I want to get into as far as the STEM scholarship which you offer. So tell us more about the scholarship. Why did you start, offering scholarships?
Oh, girl, because college is expensive and it just keeps
Yes.
getting more and more and more and more and more expensive. Um,
Yes.
and it's not like we offer like a huge scholarship. We offer $1,000 scholarship to one student every year. And the reason that I started that was because I know that tuition might be handled through a scholarship, through the school, but it might not be, your laptop that every student needs a laptop for school, right? That might not be
Mhm.
covered. Books are expensive that is
Yeah.
necessary for you to get
Yeah.
a good education. That
Mhm.
might not be covered. Maybe you're a school of business student or maybe double major, or you're going to interviews and things like that. And so you need different attire to wear to those interviews. Or, whatever the case is, you need
Mhm.
extra money. And so I wanted to create a scholarship where they didn't have to spend it on tuition if they didn't want to. They can use that money for whatever they wanted in order to ease the financial strain of going to college. And so that's why I started this scholarship. Every year we give a $1,000 scholarship to a graduating
Mhm.
senior. The caveat
Mhm.
is that they have to go to an HBCU. I'm a graduate of Oakwood University, which is the only Adventist HBCU in Huntsville, Alabama. I also went to Howard University for a year. So
Mhm.
HBCU is really important to me. Also, they have to be majoring in a STEM field, so science, technology, engineering, or math. If they have that, then they are good to go and they can apply for our scholarship. So
Mhm.
that's really the reason that I started the scholarship. I think it's important for us to pour back, not just with our time, not just with our efforts, but with our money. The kids need
Absolutely.
money um,
Yeah.
in order to
Definitely.
in order to get through this journey of going to college. It's a lot
Yeah.
on a family.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And nowadays, especially with this economy, stuff has gotten more expensive, especially like how you said with college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And these college universities are businesses
Yeah,
make money off of us going there.
absolutely.
So
And
that's
every
definitely
dollar
the thing.
counts. Every dollar
Yeah,
counts. It I mean, $1,000 is like a drop in the bucket, honestly, because of the
yeah.
amount of money that you spend going to school. But I'm glad that they will go into college with some money in their pocket that they can use to buy food, to buy books, to buy a laptop if they need. So I think that it's important that we give back in that way financially with our core.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, most definitely. I want to get into as far as the next question because I'd seen that you were on another podcast and you mentioned about a formulator and a chemist. So what's the difference between a formulator and a chemist, and is there any similarities between the two?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with the similarities. So formulators and chemists, they both create products. I think that is a given. Now the difference is a chemist is someone who has gone to school, gotten a formal education in chemistry. They understand how things work on a molecular level. Now a formulator, I think, is a little different. They might have gone to YouTube University, or they might have gotten a certificate through a non-accredited um, program, maybe through the
Mhm.
Institute of Cosmetic what is it? The Institute of Personal Care Science. Maybe they've gotten a certificate. Spelman is an accredited program, by the way, but they have
Mhm.
they have a certificate program and they have a bachelor's program now. So maybe they went through the certificate program. I think that's a really good example. So if you went to Spelman, if you went through the BA or the BS program and got a degree in chemistry to become a cosmetic chemist, I think that you are able to call yourself a chemist. If you got a certificate and now you know a little bit about formulating, you know about ingredients, maybe not on the molecular level, but you are understanding a little bit more about how to blend things together. I think that is a formulator. If you
Hmm.
know how to follow a recipe, you're a formulator. If you know how to start that recipe from scratch, you probably are a chemist.
Okay. I want to get into as far as just selecting, hair care and beauty products. So when we look at cosmetic products, whether it be makeup or hair care, what are some of the things that us as consumers should look for or keep in mind when selecting beauty products?
Hmm. As particularly for hair care?
Hair care, like makeup, also as well.
I think that there is a lot of information online about what you should and shouldn't do. My advice is do what works best for you. What works for my skin type, what works for my skin color might not work for yours. What works for my hair type and my lifestyle and my budget might not work for yours. I think that if you find a good routine and you see healthy results, you see healthy skin, you see healthy hair, you're not getting any irritation from it, I think that it's safe to stay with what you're used to, or just do what works best for you. I think there's too much information online about what you should or shouldn't do. We are not all the same person. We do not all have the same allergies. We do not all have the same hair type, the same hair texture, porosity. We do not have the same skin type, the same skin color. So, I mean, we can give recommendations like I do as well. But I think that you should do what works best for you. And then as far as choosing something new, I think
Hmm.
doing your research, knowing your allergies, first of all, I think is really important. Go to the allergist and see what you're allergic to. If you see your skin break out from something, I think, do patch tests before you try a new product. Um,
Hmm.
I think that's important, but know what you're allergic to, first of all, so that you can avoid it when you are purchasing products. Um,
Hmm.
not even just allergic to, but sensitive to, right? You might not
Right.
have a
Hmm.
full-blown allergy, but if you are
Hmm.
sensitive to a certain ingredient, then that's something to consider as well. Know your body. I think know what your goals are. So if you have dark spots and you're trying to fix your hyperpigmentation, do your research and see what works well for hyperpigmentation. You might want to look into kojic acid, tranexamic acid, definitely sunscreen. I think there's a misconception that a lot of Black people don't need sunscreen. Farther from the truth. Um, I mean, we do have melanin, which does provide us with some UV protection, but it doesn't cover everything, and we can still get wrinkles, we can still get skin cancer, we can still get sunspots, we can still get spider veins. All of those are stimulated from UV damage. So and a
Hmm.
damaged barrier, which will help with, or which will um, prevent us from having healthy skin. So I think in
Right.
general, like, definitely wear your sunscreen. But I think knowing what your issue is going to be important. Is it hyperpigmentation? Is it redness? Is it
Hmm.
aging skin? Is it, whatever the case is, know what your issue is so that you can really
Right.
target those issues. Don't just
Mm.
do everything because it's trending. You might not even
Right.
need
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You may not need it. Yeah, that's the thing. Absolutely. And I find it very interesting that you mentioned the sunscreen thing because that was one of my family members was telling me, like, there's this whole thing where Black people don't need no sunscreen.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you do need some sunscreen. You know what I mean? And
Girl, I was
things like
trying to
that.
get my mother. I don't know what it is. My mother will not wear sunscreen. I'll bring it for her. She won't put it on. I don't know what the issue is. I think it's the older generation issue. But I don't even think so, because I think there are some more mature women that will wear sunscreen and they understand
Yeah,
the benefits of using sunscreen. I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
You
I just find it very interesting because, like, there are people in our community that say we don't need any sunscreen just due to our melanin
Yeah.
and how our skin protects us from the sun and things like that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I think also another thing too, I think what's very important for like the skin and for your body, especially your immune system as a whole, is vitamin D. and
Mhm.
I think that's very, very important. I think a lot of us struggle with vitamin D intake. Certain vitamins that we need in our bodies to help maintain our skin and hair and things like that. Also, as well.
Absolutely. So I think talking with your physician or your dermatologist, all of those things are important because you can get labs done and you can figure out where you're deficient at. I have anemia. I have an iron deficiency. You might have a vitamin D deficiency. You might have whatever the case is. Make sure
Mhm.
you're getting that taken care of with your physician.
Yeah, absolutely, totally, most definitely, and that's something I'm working on. I'm specifically vitamin D.
Mm,
Vitamin D. My vitamin D is low, so I'm working on trying to up that.
yeah.
So definitely, that is important. I want to also get into as far as just ingredients, as far as like makeup and hair products, and I want to ask you this question: what are some of the common allergic reactive ingredients that are in makeup and hair products? Like, what are
Mhm.
those? What are the ingredients that people should look out for?
Fragrance, I think. Now a lot of people don't like fragrance in their products just because fragrance, there's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with fragrance. But if you do have
Mhm.
an allergy to fragrance, I think that, obviously avoid fragrance in your product.
Yeah, yeah, right.
It's kind of
Mhm.
hard. A lot of products have fragrance in it, but now a good
Yeah.
thing is that the FDA just put out the new MOCR law that now all cosmetic and drug products have to follow, which says that it says
Mhm.
a lot of things, but one of the parts of it is that all fragrance allergens have to be labeled on the label in a clear way so that people can see.
Mhm.
I mean, if you think about it, when you go and you buy food, you can turn the product around, see the nutritional facts, and then underneath it'll tell you exactly what the or not fragrance allergens, but just the common allergens like egg,
Yeah.
wheat, soy, whatever. It's
Mhm.
kind of like that in that same way. Now all cosmetics need to list the fragrance allergens in that way. So fragrance is a big one. One thing that I see a lot of people allergic to, I don't know if it's a lot of people allergic to or if this ingredient is just literally in everywhere, but
Mhm.
niacinamide. I see a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
people allergic to niacinamide, which is a skincare ingredient. Um,
Oh.
Niacinamide is in a lot of products, and I think that that's probably why they're having sensitivities to it or having trouble finding alternatives that don't have niacinamide. But that's another one that I see quite often.
Mhm.
Niacinamide.
Wow, that's very, very interesting. I want to talk about as far as just the beauty industry. So, come from a chemist, scientist point of view. What is your take as far as the evolution of the beauty industry, especially with beauty brands and things like, especially black-owned beauty
Mhm.
brands?
I think that if you asked me this like a year and a half ago, maybe not, yeah, maybe like a year and a half ago, I would have a different answer than I do today. With the fall of DEI, I think that a lot of our Black owned brands are really struggling to keep their head above water. I think of
Right.
um, Melissa, who from she's from the Lip Bar in Target and CVS. She's been very open about what it's like, amid the Target boycotts, and Target not really taking responsibility for the fact that now a lot of their black brands that are in Target are suffering because of them. I
Mm,
think of Tabitha Brown, who has also had things to say about that. But I really do think that it's not a forever thing. I think that we will get our footing back. But it's
yeah.
not just like the huge brands that are, I guess they're not even huge brands, but the larger brands that are in Target and in,
Hmm.
larger retailers. I think of the smaller brands who are trying to launch, but they can't get funding. It's
Right.
really unfortunate, and I see it so often with my clients who are trying to look for funding. They're bootstrapping themselves, they're still working their 9 to 5 job, and then they go home and they work 5 to 9 again, and they go back right back to their 9 to 5. So
Hmm.
it's a very difficult landscape that we're in right now because of the fall of DEI. I think that
Hmm.
we just have to keep fighting. We have to keep pouring into our communities, investing in these black owned businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult place to be right now.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, the whole thing with Target, it's just been absolutely just insane. Definitely there has been black owned businesses that have been struggling recently. I think Hanifa spoke out about,
Mhm, mhm,
as far as with her,
yeah,
and a few other brands and things
yeah.
like that. So it's yeah, definitely I think in a critical time like this, especially in this economy, we
Well,
gotta
yeah,
support our
I get the list goes on. Yeah, Fenty having to sell its steak, in
oh
LV
wow.
LVMH selling their steak in Fenty. Yeah, the list goes on.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Now, I want to get into as far as the fun part. So, what are some of your personal favorite beauty products?
Ooh, okay. If we're talking skin,
Mhm.
let me walk you through my skincare routine.
Okay.
Okay, on a regular day, if I have really healthy skin, I'm not really dealing with a lot of hyperpigmentation. If I'm not if my barrier is intact, then this is what I'll do. I
Mhm.
have to give a disclaimer. I sit on the board for Prequel Skin. So I have a little bit of
Okay.
a bias there. But
Okay.
I always start with the Prequel Cleanser. It's a cleanser that has over 50% glycerin, which is humectant. So it draws moisture from the air and attracts it to the skin so that your skin can be hydrated. It's a really great ingredient. So I
Mhm.
start with the cleanser.
Mhm.
And then sometimes in the morning, I don't cleanse at all because I usually cleanse the night before and my skin doesn't need a whole bunch. If I do that, then I'll just spray lightly with either the Prequel Multi Quench mist or I'll do the La
Mhm.
Roche Posay thermal spring water. After I do
Mhm.
that, I usually go in with the peptide. So um, not just any peptide. I usually go in with the Educated Mess Freeze Frame. It's a anti-aging peptide. That is, I believe, don't quote me. I think it's a diamond stabilized peptide.
Mhm.
Helps with the stability of the formula, or the stability of the peptide, and making it work even better.
Mhm.
So I usually go in with that. I might do something hydrating, lightweight. I really love the Skin Fix gel cream. I love the cocoa kind. Ooh, they just sent me that. The cocoa kind. I can't remember the name of it, but it's in a blue tube with a little pump bottle on it, and it's like
Mhm.
a really lightweight gel cream. I love that for the daytime. If it's the nighttime, I might do
Mhm.
something a little bit more occlusive, to just
Mhm.
make sure that my skin is hydrated overnight. I might use the Prequel multi-quent. I'm sorry, the Prequel Skin Utility ointment or the gel or the balm. There's like a little family of them. They have an ointment, gel, and balm. I'll either do really either of the three. If not
Mhm.
that, then maybe just a little Aquaphor or Vaseline will do the job.
Mhm.
And then of course in the daytime I will do a um, sunscreen. Sunscreens that I love: La Roche Posay, Effaclar
Mhm.
sunscreen. I can't remember the SPF. Black Girl sunscreen is a good one, obviously. Super Goop has a good one. Prequel, the Solar Shade, I think is what it's called. Um, and there's another one. Someone just sent me one. I got to get back to you on that. Oh, Dr. Idris. Dr.
Okay.
Idris. I think it's called Flat. Don't quote me. Dr. Idris sunscreen. It's in a purple tube. Um, Now, if I need a little bit of extra support, I can either use some discoloration serum from Coco Kind. Um,
Mhm.
Prequel also has a retinol serum for um not a serum, a retinol lotion for anti-aging, skin renewal. Maybe if I have rough skin, rough dry skin, I might go in with the glycolic acid or the multi-acid milk peel from Prequel is a good one. Um,
Mhm.
Also, May Love has a glycolic acid lotion. It's called the Night Renewer. I like
Mhm.
to use that at night. Those are some things that definitely help. Lip SPF is a good one as well.
Mhm.
There's a lot of brands that have good ones. Prequel has one, and they're coming. There might be something interesting coming out. There's also Prequel has one. Beauty Stat has one. Ron Robinson,
Mhm.
shout out to him, love him. Um, who else has one? I think that's the main ones that I use. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's my skincare routine. Yeah. That was a mouthful.
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole lot of products.
And let me say, you don't have to use all of these products every day. Stick with what is working for you. You really only need cleanser, moisturizer, and sunscreen. Everything else is an
Mhm.
added plus. Oh, I didn't tell you eye cream. Sorry. My favorite eye cream is the Murad Targeted ID Puffer. It has like kind of like shimmery micas in it, so it kind of reflects light so that if you have really dark circles like I do, you can put it on and then it'll make it not look so dramatic.
Mhm. I want to get into as far as just the beauty industry a little bit more about that. What is something that you would like to see more of within the beauty industry?
Um, I would like to see a lot more product education for our consumers. I think our consumers are craving knowledge. They want to know why they should purchase your brand versus the one right next to yours on the beauty counter shelves. So
Right.
I would
Mhm.
love to see more founders getting in the field, going into retailers, going into these beauty salons, going into conferences to share with the professionals, go just getting in the field and talking with people, having real conversations with people about why their product works, why they should use their products, and just getting in the field really. I was actually I just made a video about this yesterday. It hasn't launched yet, or I haven't put it out yet. But I think that I hate when brands like just launch a product, no marketing, no anything. They just drop it, launched. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense because you want as many people to be waiting at the door for you. Like, you feel me? Like, I feel like they should take
Mhm.
a page out of the marketing handbook of the rap girlies, of the R&B girlies. I said it in the video. Cardi B, she had the people on the scooters and the bikes driving through the boroughs playing her album before it dropped. There has to be some type of rollout. I don't like when brands launch a product and then the next day it's out on the market. I think that there needs to be a rollout. I think that people need to get in the field and talk about it. Go on beauty podcasts like yours and talk about why people should purchase their product. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like we're not Beyonce all the time. Some brands are the Beyoncés, but Beyonce can drop an album and then go about her day. But I feel like it
Mhm.
would be way more beneficial if a lot more brands put in the effort to actually market, to actually educate the consumer, because it is an investment. Education is not free. You have to get in the field with your consumers to understand their pain points and to know
Mhm.
really what they're needing.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, education is very, very key. I think that's what a lot of us consumers really want, especially nowadays in this economy. Like, just being educated about what we're putting on our skin, on our
Mhm.
hair, things like that. You know what I mean? And what are the benefits to it?
Yeah,
So, definitely education makes a total difference when you sell any product, especially a hair care,
absolutely.
skincare, makeup type of product or nail product. So,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
I want to get into as far as just mental health, life, and mental health. So, how have you been able to balance being a chemist and businesswoman with life and mental health?
Sometimes it feels like I don't. If I'm being real, being an entrepreneur is not for the weak. There are days where I'm good, I'm balling, I'm having a good time. My team is great. We're all great. And there are times where we are scraping together some money in order to buy
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
a lab, or
Mhm.
we are just so stressed out about deadlines and meeting
Mhm.
consumer demands and
Yeah.
taxes. Oh my gosh, like there is just a lot to be worried about. I actually feel like right now in the space that I'm at, like the past few weeks have been very difficult for me to navigate.
Mhm.
And balancing everything. Throw in there that I'm also a mom to a toddler. So it's like
Mm.
very difficult just trying to balance all of the things. Um,
Right.
and sometimes I'm not the best leader. Sometimes I fall short because I don't have it all together, and it's frustrating a lot of the times. It's not for the weak. It's only for people who are able to it's for people who are able to really um see the end goal, focus on that and have tunnel vision, because everything else, it comes and goes. The good days, they come and go. The bad days, they come and go. But what is your mission for really doing what you're doing? If I didn't
True.
have that, I wouldn't still be an entrepreneur. I would have been gone and got another job, because this is not. I like having a paycheck every 2 weeks. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, I don't have a paycheck every 2 weeks. My team does, but I might not. You know what I mean? So um,
Right.
it's very
Mhm.
unstable, and you have to protect your mental health. I think going to therapy is important. Sharing with who you trust, some of your woes. My girlfriends, they hear all about my issues, and they're really great support system. My family, my boyfriend, my team, even. I just feel like I have a really great support system, and so even when things are going terribly wrong, I know that I have people that I can lean on and depend on. So having that community is
Mhm,
really important. Being an entrepreneur is not for the weak. It is not,
mhm.
especially in this climate.
Right. Right, absolutely, most definitely. Now, last but not least, where could people find you on social media, and how can people work with Keseana Cosmetic Labs?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find me online at the Cosmoscientist. That's Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, the Cosmoscientist. Now, in order to work with us, you can visit us at KeseanaLabs.com. That's
Mhm.
Keseana. Keseana Labs. Or I'm sorry, not KeseanaLabs.com, Keseana.com. Um, and you can fill out a consultation form there. You can also email us at info@keseana.com. Again, I'm going to spell it again, Keseana. So you can email info@keseana.com and we will get back to you.
All right, that's absolutely amazing. Well, thank you so much, Milan, for jumping on. I really love this conversation of more about your cosmetic chemist background,
Absolutely.
especially the ins and outs in terms of understanding beauty products, understand different ingredients and things like that, and especially the field of being a cosmetic chemist. So I really appreciate your perspective and insight as well. So this was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me and giving me a platform to talk about my passion.
Yes, absolutely. Take care.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care and stay beautiful.